This video brought to you by the #1 website builder, Squarespace. Is Star Wars dead? A question we've been asking for a long time now. Is it really dead? And the answer is, of course, yes.
Thank you. Goodbye, everybody.
No, don't go. Yes, I think Star Wars is dead, but not for the reasons you may think. I think of Star Wars as being like the Titanic. We were all sailing along fine in a big, beautiful ship, unaware of the impending destruction, and then bam! Hit by a Rian Johnson-shaped iceberg that ripped all our good times in two. And Lucasfilm were like the band that just kept playing even though the ship was sinking. And while at first the old fans thought the damage wasn't so bad, after all, we thought that this ship was unsinkable. But the longer the dark night went on, the more obvious it became that this thing was going down. So the old fans sadly started to abandon ship, heading away in lifeboats with our Star Wars DVDs and Star Wars books shoved under our arms, heading for dry land and looking back at the broken ship, remembering how beautiful it once was before we hit the iceberg. And now we have to just sit here and watch as something we once loved sinks. Well, not all of us have stuck around to watch it go completely under the water. There is now only a few of us left in the lifeboats. A lot of the old fans have already reached land and are living happy lives warm at home, not even thinking about the lost ship. They may occasionally look at old photos of the journey, but they have no interest in booking another trip with the Lucasfilm shipping line. But the real strange thing is, the people left on the ship, they love the iceberg. They think the iceberg improved the ship because, for one, got rid of all those annoying people that are now in the life rafts, and two, the sinking ship was a good way to get rid of a lot of white men. The barely floating pile of junk is even attracting new people to it. People who hate ships and travelling, people who just see the value in the scrap metal and don't see any value in salvaging a beautiful design or taking an interesting journey. They just look at the Titanic and think, we could build a shopping mall and sell mindless junk with all that sinking metal. So yeah, there's no bringing back the once glorious Star Wars. It's sitting at the bottom of the ocean, with all the good bits just rotted away. But don't worry, there are plenty of other ships out there, more modern, faster, some with go-kart tracks. You'll have a great time, but they'll never make you feel the same. Now, if you go way back in time, the days before The Last Jedi was released, we were all living a very different life. The Force Awakens had been out a couple of years, and arguably, most fans were looking forward to The Last Jedi. It's really a time that the modern Disney Star Wars fans like to rewrite because it really doesn't fit in with their narrative that the sequel haters are all misogynist pigs. Sorry to the ladies who also hate the sequels. Their Disney shills still haven't figured out what to call you, which is sad because we also got man babies. Yes, they want to rewrite it because in reality, most people didn't have a huge problem with Rey. The most mentioned problem was that Force Awakens was just a redoing of A New Hope. Now that didn't bother me so much because I thought they deliberately brought in JJ for the soft reboot in the first film, and then the second film is where the real story would take off, and that upcoming second film in the sequels was surely going to explain why Rey was so overly powered with the Force. Who knows, maybe she'd had her memory erased and really Luke had been training her for years before he had to hide her away because evil was coming. But no! When we finally got the chance to see Rian Johnson's amazing film, Rey was just given the powers like a video game character who has achieved a binary permanent power-up. Oh, hang on, where have I heard that before? Silly me, now I remember. That's a Rian Johnson quote talking about Luke Skywalker.
I think it disrespects the character of Luke by treating him not as a true mythic hero overcoming recurring wounds and flaws, but as a video game character who has achieved a binary permanent power-up.
It's quite amazing Ryan had the balls to say that when the description of just given the powers like a video game character who has achieved a binary permanent power-up describes Rey perfectly. I used to think Ryan was just a bad filmmaker, but now I think he's just really stupid. Can you believe that before The Last Jedi came out, I was, dare I say it, excited by the choice of director for the second sequel? Can you believe that? But I can tell you now, if I ever get a DeLorean that travels through time when it hits 88 miles per hour, I won't be traveling back in time to do anything meaningful. I'm going back to slap some sense into myself about looking forward to Rian Johnson's Star Wars film. Anyway, let me struggle back to the point I'm trying to make here. We all know the history. The Last Jedi came out and most of us said, what the f***? And straight after that, we were all talking about it online. And most of us, me included, didn't know about the Reylos back then, so in some ways it was a happier time. So accidentally, I started making YouTube videos. And surprisingly, people watched them. And those were the fun YouTube days where videos could slowly grow over weeks instead of today, where the YouTube algorithm gives you 2 days to get some views and then that's it. Yes, lucky for me, lots of people watched those Last Jedi videos, which meant lots and lots of comments. Now, 90% of people were agreeing with me, but then thousands of comments were coming in, so 10% is still a lot of negative ones to read. Trust me, this is leading to a point. But back then, in the Last Jedi days, unlike now, those comments were a lot of the time funny or interesting, or at the very minimum, the person at least had something to say. They were very passionate about the reasons for disagreeing with me. And yes, I still got the personal attacks, but it wasn't all they had to say. And a lot of the time they were trying to say the new films were just as good as the original trilogy or the prequels. They didn't just hate the original films or dismiss them. But over time, that has changed. The new fans pretty much don't rate the original films at all, which I find incredibly bizarre. Why would anyone be attracted to a franchise that they don't really like? And it's not a rare occurrence, it's seen daily on Twitter and in the comments. A quick break to share with you, as the Beastie Boys used to say. I'm going to give you some knowledge. Do you know what Jeff Bezos and you have in common? The thing that started him on his journey from looking like this to this. He owned a computer, which means he could have a website. And having a website was the one thing that let him become a billionaire. Bit of an extreme example, but pick any modern business and I bet the first thing they did was launch a website. Now there's one advantage you have that Jeff Bezos didn't have. And that's Squarespace, the #1 website builder. That's why Jeff's website looked like this. Back in the days when you had to know how to code or pay someone a fortune to do it. Well, thanks to Squarespace, those days are long gone. With Squarespace, you can have a professional looking, easy to use website up and running within a day. And it's easily customized to make your big idea stand out from the crowd. And all you have to do is sign up for a free trial, choose one of their professionally designed templates, make it incredible with photo galleries, portfolios, and eye-catching video backgrounds, and you're all ready to go. Easily set up a store to sell directly to your customers. Or if you have digital content, Squarespace websites now have a members area where you can monetize your own content right on your own website. Oh, I love the smell of money in the morning. Your idea needs to have a home. You need a website. Go to squarespace.com/robothead and try Squarespace totally free. And then when you're ready to blast off, use the code robothead and you will get 10% off your first purchase. See the link below. Go to Squarespace today and get those dreams moving. Now, I'm about to share with you some comments I received on this very channel. They are all 100% real, and are all, to my knowledge, still visible on the channel. And for a bit of context, quite a few are from the video I did on Andor. Surprisingly, I wasn't that critical of Andor at the time. I'd only seen the first 3 episodes. But I thought it would be interesting to question the show's lack of fantasy, and if it was a good fit for the Star Wars universe. To say I found a lot of the comments surprising and rather enlightening would be an understatement. The odd thing you find with YouTube comments is sometimes their supposed criticism just proves the point of the video. I was never really into Star Wars until I watched Rogue One, going in not even realizing it was part of Star Wars. Jesus Christ. It got me into the whole world, and I watched the prequels, sequels, and all the live-action sideshows and movies. I least enjoyed the main franchise. I love the settings and world building of Star Wars. The Jedi are secondary to me. They're cool, but kind of boring. I haven't been able to get myself to watch the original trilogy. It just looks so campy. That's why I like it. It's not like Star Wars. Jedi are overdone, OP Mary Sue cliches. Andor is something very interesting. The Jedi are boring because they are as powerful as gods. Now there is no risk to them. Each time they come on screen, you know they will win. So what are you going to cheer about? Andor is for adults if you haven't figured that out. The fact it doesn't feel like Star Wars is the single best thing about the show. The universe created by Lucas, in addition to being poorly written and childish, is not good even in the context of children. For example, The Lord of the Rings is just as simplistic, but is not childish and cheap in its aesthetics. It is a shame that is a project like Andor, it has to tie into this stupid universe Lucas created. Jeez. It's not every day you get someone criticizing George Lucas's aesthetics while also saying Tolkien's writing is simplistic. You're right, it's not Star Wars, it's better. I hate the Jedi good versus evil aspect of Star Wars. It's called Star Wars, it's supposed to be about war amongst the stars. I will watch this for sure if the Jedi and Sith fanboys hate it. Honestly, the sequel trilogy isn't bad. Want truth? Original trilogy is boring. Luke is the most boring Star Wars character ever. Get over it. That's why I like it a lot. It's not Star Wars. Having no Jedi is a plus in my book. Wait, people actually like the Jedi? Star Wars is at its worst whenever they are on screen. LOL. This video is wild. That argument that people want more Jedi and magical garbage in their Star Wars? ? I've never heard it. Not from my friends, not from content creators on the internet, not from reviews. Now, no matter what you think about Andor, the hate for George Lucas's ideas out there amongst the so-called fans is insane. And even if it's not to the extreme of some of those incredible comments, just go on Twitter and its daily streams of how every shot in the sequels are the greatest shots of all time. In fact, they're the greatest shots in cinema ever. Here's a recent comment saying that the opening of The Rise of Skywalker is the best opening scene of any Star Wars film ever. Not the walkers, not Jabba's palace, not the battle at the start of Revenge of the Sith, not even the opening shot that started all this. The shot that changed cinema and is acknowledged as one of the greatest opening shots in all of cinema. No, none of them compare with Kylo doing the slow-mo moonwalk. Now I understand opinions, and this guy can like whatever he wants. I blurt him out because you're allowed to have incredibly limited imagination and really bad taste. But it's this attitude and opinions that are all rising to the surface, like mold taking over in an abandoned house. Every day more and more old Star Wars fans give up on the old property, and the mold just keeps growing. Yes, for people like me, that thrill is never coming back, and sadly, that will make a lot of weird people very happy.
For my ally is the Force. Life creates it, makes it grow. Its energy surrounds us and binds us. Luminous beings are we, not this crude matter.
My clones were finally going to be perfect. The best parts of me. But improved by adding the one thing I never had.
The Force.